Alright, we're back. Whole lot of crazy stuff happened. Now we gotta report back. Damn. Yeah, like there's gonna have to be a conjunction because we don't know where Medion is, but Heidelin does because she put the enchant on her. But then there would be slight differences between our world and that world. And that timeline. That must have been her timeline that we saw. And everything was coming to this. I'm correct in that. You're not turning up exactly when needed. This is no exception. Okay. Arrow, impeccable timing as always. I'd heard you were off in the first part of our efforts to investigate the final days. While so often seems to be the case while you're away, we've had some few developments, which we can discuss in just a moment. For now, however, I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to have you back. Be right back. Alright, back. Sorry about that. Which we can discuss in just a moment. For now, however, I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to have you back. Alright. Chondrite weapon coffer. Though you and Crow both have news to share, hers is perhaps the more urgent. So, have you learned out more of the final days? The journey was well worth the risk. No doubt your newfound knowledge will be a great boon to us all. Fortunately, during your time at the first, events here have taken a turn for the worse. Scions are running themselves ragged trying to contain the spread of blasphemies, but it's a losing battle. To try and ascertain the where and why of it, Alice and Alphino have been traveling all over. Of all the regions they visited, Locus and Monus is one of the worst affected. Thancred, Estinian, and Graha took a detachment of allied soldiers there to offer aid and succor to those in need. But the province is vast. They only managed to visit a handful of coastal villages. It was an accomplishment worth celebrating still, but a drop in the bucket at best. Meantime, Y'shtola and Master Matoya have been making a concerted effort to establish contact with Heidelin in the Ethereal Sea, but to no avail. As for Tataru and I, we've been keeping a close eye on the Forum. From what we gather, they've been constructing a vessel to ferry people to the moon. An ambitious project that has likely been years, if not decades, in the making. However, since we've seen no sign of it thus far, I suspect it's still incomplete. Oh, that's right. People can't take the teleporter, so they're making the ship to go to the moon. But still, there's essentially no escape, even if they get to the moon and get out of there. Comes the Endwalker intro, or the Endwalker title. However, since we've seen no sign of it thus far, I suspect it's still incomplete. You also recall the proposal issued by Master Fortunal to the people of Radzat Han. Following their discussion, Vitra declared his support for the plan and urged those who wish to evacuate to accept the Forum's invitation. So far so good, but that's where things get a little strange. Apparently, the Forum caught wind of the lunar teleporter in the Tower of Babel and decided to use it to deliver people to the moon instead of their mysterious ship. Therefore, to secure safe passage for the Hanish refugees to the tower, Alphino, Alizé, Estina, and Graha traveled to Garlemald not long ago. Trouble is, the capital was hardly the safest place to begin with, and now... Final days have come to Garlemald. Oh, shit. Shortly after our friends arrived, they were sent to rendezvous with Master Fortunal. Then panic broke out and our communications were severed. Uh-oh. From what fragments we were able to make out before the link shell went completely silent, we can only assume the phenomenon has spread to the capital. The others need you, Arrow. Please, you must help them. Having you there will make all the difference, I'm sure of it. Camp Broken Glass was their first port of call, so you'd best start there. Hopefully Lucia will know where they are. There's no telling what you'll be walking into, so you had best take every possible precaution. Oh, this is going to tie into the next part of the intro, or the next part of the cinematic. Pains me to send you off alone into unknown peril after you've only just returned. But 12 willing, you won't be alone for long. I'll be sure to let Thancred and Y'shtola know you're back. At least they're still responding to their link pearls. Okay, so back to Camp Broken Glass. Go dash. Arrow, not a moment too soon. The skies over Garlemald are ablaze, but it's events on the ground that concern me. As you all have heard, your fellow Scions arrived ahead of you. You cut the customary greeting short after we received word from our troops on the Magna Glacius that the Forum's airship had landed. It was then that the heavens began to burn. I dispatched your friends at once to ensure the refugees come to no harm. I would have you join them immediately. Additional support is en route, but we will discuss them later. Trust you are ready to depart. Upon departing for the Magna Glacius, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. Yep. In addition, you will be required to participate in battle. Your progress will be saved at certain points. In the event that you are defeated, you will be able to try again for the most recent of these. Please note that if you enter battles associated with other quests or log out from the game, this progress will be lost. Alright, let's go. Earlier on the Magna Glacius. Glacius?
No. 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 We were promised an escape. Not the same you we fled.
I shall not meet my final days here in this blasted waste. Calm yourselves. Your panic is our greatest enemy. Come, we must build a line of defense. How?
Leave the fighting to us, Father. You must lead the people to safety.
I can handle this pair. You?
Shall tend to the refugees. Let us be about it.
As you wish, my little lord.
Oh, so I'm playing as Alpha now, okay.
I'll command the beast's attention. See to the wounded.
Restores target's HP.
Help is at hand.
Also, oh, missing that one too.
Leave it to me.
This is always weird, is getting used to things. Run for it. No. Don't lose hope. Damn it.
Those who can stand, come with me.
Don't lose hope.
Easy now. Deep breaths.
All is not lost. We can do this.
You're safe now.
Worry not for the refugees, but for yourself.
Uh-oh. Lead, I'll provide support. Then over there. Man. Okay. Oh, fuck. Gotta turn away. Okay. Oh. Chevalier diagnosis. Okay. Because these are these weapons, of course, so it makes sense.
But not hard enough!
Help! Someone, please!
What?
What in the hell?
Don't. I don't want to die.
Oh shit.
Let not a single fiend escape! Wait, that's... Euless and the army. So, you've recovered then? In time enough to be of aid, for once. We can speak of it more later. For now, we must fight! To repay your salvation in kind, or with better! For Garlemald has her pride! Of that I've no doubt.
Good gods. all possible saviors, the Imperial Army. Oh!
I had hoped to take all of them down at once.
Uh-oh.
Think a withdrawal might be in order?
Ah, sod that. You know who would never abandon these people to their fate. To be devoured by their former friends. That'd be beyond cruel. These beasts must fall here and now.
Well then, I'd say it's high time we threw caution to the winds.
So long as you spare me the heroic sacrifices. Now, let's go!
Oh, now I'm playing as Alizé. Cool. Go out with me. Oh, that's the melee one, I think. Okay, let's just use that. Also got to heal him. Whoa.
I'm fine.
Oops. Uh-oh.
Today.
See, if I care, I won't back down. Oh. Okay. Whoops. There's our chance.
I'm not done yet.
To worry about.
So if we're not talking much, just really focus on what's happening.
The air crackles with energy. Find cover.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Yeah, this. Okay, they're gonna come at different times, so we're there. Okay, this thing has to go down.
As they say, turnabout's fair play. On guard.
Nice. Okay, so he can't heal. Alright.
There's not the barest trace of ether. Maybe there really is no way to bring them back. Thank you for saving our lives once again.
Yeah, no problem.
I remember you from Purusha. You helped us there too, didn't you?
Ah, you're from Palaka's stand. I'm glad you're still in one piece. Or you will be, once I see to that injury of yours.
Look out!
And this is where my character comes in, cinematic. Oh no, him.
Get out of here! Quickly! I won't lose them. Not a one. This will be a brighter future. I won't let a madman's apocalypse ruin everything we've fought to achieve.
Yeah.
Get it together, Alize. You're embarrassing yourself. And in front of father, no less. You might never measure up to our champion. But we ask too much of him as it is. You mustn't let our sword in the darkness fight alone.
Back. You've done well in my absence. Praise the way you should never skip your squat regimen. I gotta say I'm back.
I can look after myself, you know.
Everything's in order, I trust?
I've had enough of this rabble. Come on!
Let's go.
Oh, a trio for the ages.
Yep. I should actually go to the last one. I got 2 of those to use now.
Just the beginning.
What? Oh, that one.
I'd find you.
Oh, hey. They're all coming in now.
This should be the last of the worst troublemakers. With me!
Oh, there we go. That was weird.
On your feet.
Yep. They didn't seem to be in order there, which kind of threw me off. Uh-oh.
Now, where were we?
Yeah.
You must board without delay. The ship will depart ere long.
Your offer to host us in Sharlayan is most appreciated. But will the final days not soon fall upon it as well?
Your hesitation is not unwarranted. The satrap entrusted me with your lives, yet I have failed your comrades. Nor are you wrong to fear that this corruption will continue to spread. I cannot promise you complete safety, even in my homeland. What I can promise is that I will do all in my power to protect you. That power is not inconsiderable. Even now, my countrymen are preparing the vessel that will deliver us to a sanctuary on the moon. Join us on our journey there, and beyond, to new horizons. Come to Old Charlian. Please.
We would be fools to refuse such a generous offer made in earnest.
It seems they've a new destination.
The people of Radzat-Han have known too much suffering. The march to Garlemald will only bring them more, short though it may be.
I quite agree. Fortunately, they have you to look after them.
Yes. Well.
Behind you! Just there!
More of them.
Xenos! Here!
You'll be all right. Hurry to the airship.
Why have you come?
A heretofore unseen beast. 'Twas ripe for the slaying. Poor sport, alas. Unfit to temper my blade.
Oh, for the love of... You cannot still be on about a rematch.
That is and has ever been my sole concern. You, on the other hand, are fixated on a different quarry. Your passion pales before mine, yet neither hate nor despair seems sufficient to recapture your misdirected bloodlust. So, I hone my blade, and I wait.
That's it. That's all you care about. Garlemald is in ruins. Our homeland, the nation you rule, is as good as gone. so many of its people. Not just soldiers like us. Not only those who fought and killed for power and duty. Innocent civilians. Murdered by their own flesh and blood. Lost and confused as they breathed their last. While we who survived with our lives and minds intact were left to freeze to death. The Eorzeans tell me all this was your doing. You slaughtered your countrymen. You did! For what?
For nothing in the end. So much wasted effort.
You bastard!
For your own sake, Eulus, you must control your anger. It will serve no one should it consume you and see you transformed.
Would you be happier had I a good reason?
What?
If my motives met with your approval, would you no longer resent the outcome? If so, then perhaps a beast's skin would suit you better. Duty, honor, morality. All constructs of convenience when put to proof. Surely the war taught you how easily power becomes the tool of the self-righteous. How the people's justice was merely a means to their ends? Yet you would ask me why. Ask any creature of this star and those above for answers, and they will tell you what suits their fancy. And they would be right to do so. What meaning there is to be found in the petty vicissitudes of your existence must be gleaned by you, and you alone. Should you seek it in battle, in the fruitless pursuit of my demise, then come. Assume your rightful place as a notch on my blade.
You are a blight on the Garlean race. And there would be no more satisfying way to expunge it than by beating you to death. But I will not be party to another tragedy. I refuse to lose anyone else because of you. So go. Go! And may we never suffer your madness again!
Xenos! Perhaps you found meaning in living this way. I cannot deny you found strength. Yet if you only pursue your hedonistic pleasures and pay no heed to the plight of others, then no one will give you the time of day. You will never get what you want, not even the battle you pine for so dearly. You'll be alone for an eternity, and you'll deserve every agonizing second of it.
We're ready to depart. The refugee ships will be leaving shortly, but I've asked mine to remain for the time being. There's room enough for you to join me on it, if you wish. Do contain your surprise. I needn't agree with the Scion's methods or intentions to acknowledge that their deeds are deserving of gratitude.
We appreciate the offer. But might I ask why you are delaying your departure? I presume it is not solely for our benefit.
I must visit Garlemald ere we return to Sharlayan. Having caused such an uproar, it is only meet that I explain myself to the Ilzabard contingent.
Allow us to accompany you then. We should be glad to facilitate, given our familiarity with all concerned. If you would like to join as well, Eulus, we can speak of recent events on the way.
He'll be after your seat on the forum next.
So I thought when Xeno showed up, I thought more beasts and stuff were going to show up, and he was just going to like kick all their asses, but I don't. Still slick seeing him there like that, though. That whole section is awesome, too. Damn. Couldn't save them all, but if we'd arrived any later, it would have been a massacre. Things were looking bleak until you and the First turned up. Though there will be time later to discuss your journey to the First, there is one thing I must ask. Did you perchance speak with our friends in the Crystarium? Sure did. Lena and Becklug both warned me against overexerting myself. Becklug. Strange that they would express such similar sentiments. Identical, in fact. Their advice duly noted. The final day should manifest here too after everything these people have suffered. The fate cruel beyond words. Nevertheless, with allies old and new at our side, there is yet reason to be hopeful. It's been a while since last we spoke. For some time I was not myself. Lucy and the others told me what happened that night and about the events that took place while I was receiving treatment. It was only then that I realized the length of you and yours go to. I know I might never be able to repay you, but I'll be damned if I don't try. Most of all, I want to thank you, all of you, for everything you've done and continue to do for the sake of my people. At the very least, I am glad our own members are accounted for. This is the contingent base of operations, I take it. You see Zeno standing there, so uncaring and unrepentant. Gods, I don't know what came over me. It's blurted out the first thing that came to mind, but looking back on it, I stand by those words. I would say I hope they won't incite him to further villainy, but to be honest, I doubt he even remembers what I said. Anyway, enough about all that. It's good to see you again. What does that look like? Whoa. That looks awesome. Oh, and it extends when you unsheath it. Cool. We still need to quiz you about your time on the first if we ever get more than a moment's respite.
No major injuries then. Good. I briefed the recovered soldiers and sent them on their way as quickly as I could, but nevertheless feared they would not make it in time.
The additional support was invaluable. Your men saved more than a few lives. Though not all, I regret to say.
I take it that I'm addressing Lucia Junius. I'm the Forum's envoy, Fortuneau Leveilleur. And you are owed an explanation for these most dire developments.
Another trial wrought by the final days. I was beginning to suspect as much. You doubtless feel some consternation having been forced to abandon your original plan. But trust me when I say you were right to send the refugees elsewhere. Beasts have been sighted within the capital. Perhaps it was a stroke of grim fortune that the population was decimated beforehand, as they've yet to appear in any great number, but in time. In any case, Maxima leads the remainder of the contingent in an effort to cull the creatures and evacuate the populace as we speak. Once the airships have taken to the skies, I pray your men can be persuaded to join him.
You'll permit us to retain our weapons?
I wouldn't have sent you after the Scions were I expecting you to stab them in the back.
And I, for one, would not consider past transgressions more relevant than future contributions. Regardless of the circumstances that saw us at odds before, we need men of courage now, more than ever.
We swore to defend Garlemald, and so we shall.
It seems you have everything under control. You will excuse me then, for mine own duties await.
A moment, Master Fortuneau. You did desire to express your appreciation for services rendered, did you not?
I did. Though if you intend to again ask that Sharlayan alter its course, you will find my gratitude insufficient.
'Tis nothing so onerous. I wish to hear the details of this grand endeavor of yours.
Do you swear to listen and to learn, and not to embark upon some scheme to impede us?
I swear.
Any other, I would doubt. But you, I trust to keep your word. For not once have you broken it. Very well. I will request that the Forum make you privy to our plans. You may await our summons at the Baldessian Annex, assuming the decision is in your favor. Does that suffice?
It does. You have my thanks.
Excellent. You can regale us with tales of your most recent sojourn to the First while we wait. Did you hear something just now?
Dawn may banish even the darkest night, and to this bitter clime bring warmth and comfort. 'Tis heartening to see such an assembly upon my return. I thought often of you whilst I looked down upon our star's brilliance from the moon above.
Yes, but what are you doing here? And dressed like that? Aren't you cold?
Verily, I fear for my health should I proceed to expound upon our purpose ere I procure more suitable garments.
Then allow me to summarize. We're here because none of you lot are up there. Nor has anyone deigned to send word about any changes in the plans. It's rude, is what it is. At least that's what I thought at first, but then folks got to wondering if you weren't in a spot of bother, so we decided to take matters into our own hands. Come down here and help, if our help be needed. So she says, but it's also something of a convenient excuse to visit Etheris. Urianger made it sound absolutely marvelous. More so before the impending doom, but still. And it's not like there will ever be a better time. What with the aforementioned doom?
Marvelous, they say, yet not an ounce of pudding to be found. I must suffer Urianger's inferior works no more.
Hey! Maybe consider the plight of present company before you go blathering on about pudding and doom? Ahem. As I was saying, should you require any assistance with whatever, we are at your disposal. We were born from Heidelin's love for the lives of this star, so naturally we would much prefer to see them continue. Twiddling our thumbs up on the moon is hardly conducive to that, though, is it? Aye, not when you've all got such precious thoughts and feelings and hopes for the future deserving of more active preservation. Speaking to Urianger made us realize that while we've carried out our duties to the letter, we've failed to fulfill them in spirit. From there, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump towards resolving to do better. So please, show us how. Help us help you.
Forgive me, but are they...
Thy distant collaborators, indeed.
Hail, fellow! Well met. You'd be a member of the Forum, would you? It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you at last. I'm Livingway, Heidelin's right paw. That last bit is very important. As am I, if I may humbly say so myself.
I, bid you welcome to our star, Livingway. On behalf of the Forum, I thank you for traveling such a distance to meet us. As you have surmised, preparations for the Exodus have not proceeded as smoothly as we had hoped. I should be happy to personally escort you to our headquarters in Charlian, where you may advise us as you deem fit.
'Twas with reluctance that I set aside the great work of readying the moon for habitation. Be assured that I did so only after the Loperids made plain their earnest desire to come hither, and I myself felt a growing certainty that their contributions here would prove invaluable. 'Tis trite, perhaps, but I followed my heart. For a time, at least. Nevertheless, 'twas worth the journey to find present company well. Wilt thou attend us at the Forum and lend thine own wisdom?
If that's all quite settled, can we start moving before Urianger catches his death? Even I'm freezing out here.
Oh, I dare say you'll warm up quickly once you're aboard the airship. Sat shoulder to shoulder with our fur-covered friends.
That's really good. I dare say Master Fortunal was as nonplussed as we to learn the identity of Heidelin's Moonra custodians. As he will soon discover, they have much more to offer the Forum. Might I suggest we return to the Annex forthwith? May I have time to discuss thy recent adventures, ere we are summoned to the rostra. Probably faster to go there and then over. Not that I'm complaining, Oriange, but I wasn't expecting you to see you quite so soon. Nor I thee. In extolling the virtues of Theris, I did inadvertently awaken in Loporrit's a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Quirrell tells us you have obtained new knowledge that may aid us in our ongoing efforts. News to share regarding our study of the Ethereal Sea, but your finding is certain to be of greater interest, and so I would rather hear them first. To what revelations did Hydaelyn's Elpis flower lead? And this dynamis is what drives the final days. If it and Akasa are one and the same, this all but proves not Idahana's theory. Were an entity, through sheer force of emotion, to channel this vast, dormant reservoir into a raging river, its power might surpass even that of ether. But if our star is so replete with ether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamis of the great expanse. Medion. Or rather, the sorrow and suffering of fallen civilizations that she has been hoarding for millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred drawn from every corner of the universe, all for a single purpose, the destruction of Aetheris. Then our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. We have but one aim, to defeat Medion. You make it sound so simple, but you're not wrong. Vanquish Medion and we deliver the world from the final days, but to even attempt it, there are two conditions. First, we must determine her location. Before Medion escaped, an enchantment was placed upon her by Vana, the woman who would become Hydaelyn. The implications of temporal magics are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Hydaelyn and Vana you met in Elpis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities, as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Hydaelyn possesses the knowledge we seek. Whether she would share that knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends for us to flee Aetheris, not to stay. Do you suppose she has abandoned her pursuit of Medion? The Vana I know would never give up. Vana, yeah. That's my impression too, otherwise she would have used me as a conduit for her will or provided clues such as the Elpis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Hermes' question. So, what's the second condition? We must find a means to reach Medion. Naturally, our chosen method will depend entirely upon wheresoever she has made her nest. And communing with Heidelin must by necessity come first. Do you and Master Matoya have any luck with your investigation into the Ethereal Sea? Sadly not, though we enlisted the help of Arenvald and other Echo-blessed allies, we wouldn't detect so much as a whisper from Heidelin, even from within the Antitower. Master Matoya is of the opinion that in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Heidelin. If so, it would most likely be some form of apparatus for observing the Ethereal Sea built closer to home. Sorry to interrupt. We've just received word from the Forum. Your presence is required in the Rostra, where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. And Father was able to persuade them. They're finally taking us seriously. Let's hear what they have to say. It was Heidelin's commandment that in the event Zodiark should perish, the Loperites were to deliver the people of Aetheris from harm. Though that be the limit of their duties, they possess knowledge unparalleled in great expanse and the means of its traversal. Should they be persuaded to assist in our efforts to reach Medion, we would do well to heed their counsel. At first I wasn't sure what to make of Hermes and his motives. But it's like we discussed at the Great Work. When faced with the harsh realities of life, some seek the release of death. Others grow defiant. They fight. Either way, it is our right to choose. Well, that was a much quicker response than I was expecting. Nice to know our efforts on the Magna Glacius didn't go unnoticed. Father has granted us the opportunity we've been waiting for. Though we know not what information, if any, they intend to reveal, there's only one way to find out, through the Rostra. Hope you don't mind me staying behind while you attend your big meeting. Rostra reminds me a bit too much of the supremely scary tribunal in Ishgard. You'll forgive me if I keep my distance. After you left for Garlemald, I went to Labyrinthos, tried to reach Heidelin using the Elpis flowers. Last my attempts were in vain. I can only assume that she spent a vast amount of her power in the confrontation with Van Daniel, and is presently unable to communicate. Indeed, as her presence left my body, I could feel how faint it had grown. Master Matoya has suspected for some time that the Forum has been constructing a new facility for the purpose of surveying the Ethereal Sea. Of course, as the custodian of the Antitower, which would presumably be rendered obsolete as a result, she has a few things to say about that. Nothing that should be repeated in polite company, you understand. After sending Graha and Istinian back to Garlemald, I stayed in Locus Anonis for a time. Being an imperial province, it was already in turmoil before the onset of the final days. You wouldn't believe the difficulties we had overseeing the evacuation of the villages we visited. I have faith that the detachment we left behind will continue our work and shepherd the people to safety, to what safety can be found in a world coming to an end. I think the Crystal Tower of the First is capable of such feats as sending one's soul into the distant past. The events you witnessed and helped shape me yet hold the key to forestalling the final days. I'm reminded of dear friends in the future I unmade, whose selfless efforts saw the 8th Umbral calamity averted. In this timeline, at least. Too much has been sacrificed for us to abandon Aetheris now. Alright, see you all there. Not many people will be able to flee to safety. The Ark can only hold so many, but how will they decide who boards and who remains? Surely they have some criteria in mind. I've been thinking the same thing. But we've also lost a lot of people because of the final days so far, so... Forum is in session, and as such, the roster is closed to visitors. Science 7th on, very well, you may wait in the corridor. Quarter century will only be permitted on the condition you leave your armaments at the door. Lest you forget, the sacred institution holds rational discourse in the highest. The implements of war are expressly forbidden. I suggest you make your way inside. The forum takes a rather dim view of lateness.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter. We are here to listen and to learn. But if the Forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far.
Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the Seventh Dawn at their request on the Great Exodus. You may enter. On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glaciers. We shall not soon forget your service to us and the people of Radzat-Han. The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Sharlayan has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Sharlayan citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radzat-Han was foremost among these, but since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This Ark, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational, and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Seven hells. Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem? We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on two conditions. If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the Anti-Tower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
Delightful as always, Master Alfino. Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration. I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms? "71 in favor, 28 against. The ayes have it. Fortuneau, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
Very well.
I call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
Interesting. Let's see here. Let's start with Thancred. My affinity for espionage may have earned me the title of Archon, but I was completely unaware of the Forum's plans. There may have been clues here and there, but had I been of a mind to look for them, but contemplating that possibility only serves to further wound my pride. Not that anyone could have realistically surmised that their brilliant stratagem was to build a giant ship, fly to the moon, still larger vessel in truth, and use that to travel to another star. Even now, the whole idea seems positively absurd when spoken aloud. Of late, I have seen no sign of Loperates. This being their first opportunity to experience the wonder of Charlene, the potential for misadventure is nigh infinite. Perhaps if Midgard Stormir were still alive, in traditional sense that is, he could have offered to help the vessel attain the necessary speeds. And again, there's no guarantee his contribution would make enough of a difference to matter. The further we pursue the mysteries of the universe, the more I struggle to comprehend the fortuitous nature of time itself. We measure and quantify it based on observations of celestial bodies, such as the sun and the moon. But from your account, it is unclear whether the ancients viewed time in a similar manner. I mention this because while Vanna knew the final days would reoccur at a defined point in the future, she presumably had no way of knowing exactly when. Even so, the completion of the form's preparations to escape the moon, aligning so closely with the advent of the final days, is surely no coincidence. I'm a little vexed that we've yet to learn of the form's replacement for the Antitower, but I expect that in time they'll share that too with us, and Master Matoya if they have any sense. Phew, I'll admit bringing up the issue of the form's incomplete arc was more than a little daunting. They were, to their credit, quite open about the current state of affairs. What was even more surprising, though, is when they took Alphinaud up on his offer. While I very much take issue with the forum's approach to selecting whom to save and when, they're not wrong for wanting to minimize potential conflicts. Fortunately, if this plan of ours actually works, the Great Exodus itself will become entirely unnecessary. Rest assured, I have every intention of honoring the forum's decision. Okay. Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plan. I was admittedly thinking on my feet for the most part. Since we require both the means of communicating with Heidelin and reaching Medion, in the spur of the moment I saw involving ourselves with the completion of the arc as a way to work towards both objectives simultaneously. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the ether burner. I'd like to think it is not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at least the expertise of our extended circle of associates. It might behoove us to learn how an ether burner actually works before we attempt to improve it, though. His father seems so eager to help. Maybe we can have him educate us about the ether burner. As instructed, I shall take you to see the ether burner. Meet me outside the Archeon. I trust you can make your own way there. So the Ark is being built in Labyrinthos. Hardly surprising. Where else could they conceal such a massive undertaking? Unless Labyrinthos is the ship. He did say moving all that was a priority, so move it there, unload it, and then grab everyone else. As much as I want to keep playing, I'm really beat. There's been a lot that happened today. It's crazy. So I'm going to stop here for now. Got a lot done, though. A lot of revelations, a lot of cool stuff happened. And I'm looking forward to more of it. I might be back tonight to play some more. I'm not sure, though. Pretty tired, so. Yeah, that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and have a good day night. See you later. Bye.